Hello everyone, thank you for being here today. Today we're going to get scrappy with it. So I'm going to talk about how to source and also how to take care of some imperfect items for your home. My inspiration for this is the Japanese art of kintsugi that highlights and celebrates imperfection and resilience, and I think heck yes to that. Tip one, I would say, is to buy the broken pieces that are not perfect. They might have some chips, they might be missing a piece, they might be dinged up. That is okay. I think we send things to the landfill way too readily, and what's wrong with a little bit of imperfection? For example, I was at a thrift store and I found this beautiful wooden elephant kind of piece for the wall that looked beautiful, was gorgeously carved, but it was missing a tusk. And what I did was I brought that piece home with me, paid the couple bucks that it was for that elephant, and then I made a tusk out of paper mache. It's something that I used to do as a kid a lot of the time. I used to watch this show called Art Attack, which, oh my goodness, so near and dear to my heart. And so I thought, well, I could just make a tusk out of paper mache and some tissue paper. So I did that, painted it a little bit to match the other tusk's color, stuck it in there with glue, and nobody's the wiser. If you see a side table that has some scratches to its veneer or some dings, you can always get little touch-up pens. And I think same with upholstered pieces. If you find something that is a beautiful shape and design, but it could use a different type of upholstery, you could reupholster it yourself. You could get it reupholstered as well. That does cost a little bit more money. Just buy some broken stuff. It's worth it. Next tip is lean into the ugly. Just go there. I mean, if you want to find items that you don't have to do a lot of work for, pick items that look good when they're imperfect. I'm talking about things like big farm tables that you can use as like a dining table that are dinged up, scratched up, weathered and worn, and they look good that way. I think leaning into the ugly is the way to go for sure. It reminds me of films from the 1970s where people had not perfectly white teeth, not perfect skin. They looked like real people. And I think that's a lot of what we're missing nowadays. And furniture pieces and decor pieces that can look a little unattractive, imperfect, are so fun to include into your home and mean way less maintenance. Stuff like those farmhouse tables, knobbly old stools that are not perfect and dinged up, faded frames even. Sometimes they might have paint peeling off and stuff, and sometimes that looks really good. Planters. I bought a pot for my plant recently that was kind of dirty. It does not look that perfect from the outside, but I kind of like that. Tip number 3, mend that shit. So if you have pieces in your home, you already own them, you've loved them, you've maintained them for a long time, and they just fray. They, fall apart a little bit at the seams, or there's parts of them that are chipping if they're wood or things like that. Mend it. You don't have to throw it out. We're so quick to toss things if there's, little imperfections or if they're not functioning the way we're used to. We adopted a dog a couple years ago named Avery, and she is a doll, but she did have a phase where she just tore into everything. She just wanted to eat stuff here. And she sleeps on the couch, so she would just kind of wake up, I think, in the middle of the night and just start chewing every single throw pillow that we own. And so every single throw pillow on this couch, including parts of the couch, have been mended by yours truly. Yeah, I could have gotten rid of those covers and sourced new ones for sure, but why? They function perfectly. I set them up in a way where you can't see the mended pieces, which is another tip actually I'll talk about later. But mend it. You don't have to throw out pieces that you love just because they're broken or torn or chipped. You can invest a little time in learning how to hand sew. You don't need a fancy sewing machine. You can just, have a needle and thread, match the color perfectly, and just learn how to do some basic stitches that can sew up those little holes with no problem. I talked about finding imperfect pieces and using a touch-up pen or on some wood that's been knocked about a little bit. That's really easy. And I find actually sometimes if you get wood veneer that's scratched up, if you just oil it, usually that's enough to give it some new life and cover up that scratch a little bit. I also have a clock that I love dearly. There was a time where I didn't hang it properly and it fell. I gathered those little plastic shards and I did a little kintsugi myself. I gave them life again. I glued them back together, essentially. So yeah, you can easily mend items that you have in your home you love dearly and you do not want to get rid of. Okay, next tip I will say, folks, is to show off their good side. So I touched on this a couple steps back, but basically if you have pieces that are chipped, that are, frayed, that are not looking so great, angle them so that you can only see their good side. I mean, if all the other sides are usable except for the chipped piece or the little broken piece, then come on, just show off their nice side. Take a tip from Beyonce. All of those pillow covers that my dog tore up and I had to re-sew, I mean, some of them, when you sew them back up and mend them, they're not going to look perfect. Like parts of them are going to look a little bit odd or misshapen because of the way that dogs chew. So I had to strategically place these pillows so that the ugly parts are not shown, and that's okay. Nobody knows. Nobody's going to pick up a pillow and look at the underside. So that really works. I have a soap dish that is chipped on the back and I only ever show the front. If you buy pieces like chairs or couches or things like that, and there are kind of like imperfect parts, you can always throw a blanket on top of them. If there is a side of the couch that maybe your cat scratched up, or my mom does that actually. She has parts of her couch that her cats did scratch up. And you can just throw a nice throw blanket on it, like a beautiful wool blanket that just looks gorgeous. Nobody will be the wiser. Nobody will know why you have it on there. You can just throw it over top and yeah, conceal those imperfect sections as well. Make alterations if the pieces that you have need to be leveled up or they're not working for you anymore. So a good example of that is I bought some IKEA deck tiles and they worked great. They're still wonderful. I still love them. But they didn't exactly fit the particular dimensions of our balcony. And I didn't want to get a whole new set or find expensive things to insert into those gaps. I wanted to use what I had, which was those IKEA tiles. So with some basic hand tools and a lot of elbow grease and the help of my mom, who is a DIY diva, together we basically cut little sections out from the decking tiles where we could insert them into these sections of my balcony that the tiles themselves wouldn't fit into. So don't be afraid to make alterations for things that are not exactly serving your needs in the state they're in. Measure twice, cut once. That's what handy people say, apparently. So don't be afraid to level that stuff up by making some minor adjustments with some basic hand tools or power tools if you're comfortable. Go for it. All right, another tip for you. Make a bit of a Frankenstein's monster from some items. I talk about this in my video about items that you should invest in, but I talked about what I've done with items that I did not invest a ton in, and I showed the example of frames, so budget frames. So if you have items that maybe one part of it is great, the other part not so great, and you don't want to buy a whole new thing, you can always kind of combine pieces from different pieces. And this sounds very abstract, but I'll give you an example. So I bought a couple budget frames for art, and one of them had a really lovely frame and it was still in great working condition, but the glass shattered. Whoopsie. The other one, the frame was okay, not as good as the other one, but the glass was in great condition. So I took the glass from that one, put it in the other frame, and made like a little Frankenstein's monster from both of them. This is a good one. So the pieces that you have that you want to maintain and you don't want them getting to the point of no return where you do have to throw them out, care for them. If you have natural fibers, leather and wood, you have to moisturize, okay? Just like you moisturize your face and do your skincare routine and everything, you have to take care of leather and wood. And so wood pieces, you have to oil them. If you have a wooden cutting board, if you have unsealed wood furniture, things like that, you want to oil, I would say once a month. I have a reminder on my phone. Every first of the month, I do a whole oiling routine of my wooden pieces in the home. And that's also the day that I give my dog her medication. So it's a 2-for-1. And same with leather. So I don't have a ton of leather furniture, but I do have a lot of leather footwear. And I clean and moisturize and condition that on a regular basis because it's so easy for that stuff to dry out. So if you have, leather couches, leather chairs, anything like that, any kind of leather goods in your home, I would highly recommend using like a good quality cleaner moisturizer. Metal hinges, you want to, put some WD-40 on there to keep them working in good condition. And if you have rugs that tend to if you have ones with like the loops that they come up sometimes, I have a dog, so she constantly pulls up different loops on my wool rug. And so I have to give it a little trim sometimes. That's just the price of admission for having a pet. But yeah, care for the stuff that you have, and that'll make it last. That'll prevent you from having to buy new items. And even if these pieces are imperfect, you can care for them in a way that'll keep them looking beautiful. Same with upholstery. You can easily use like a depilling machine and get rid of those like pills and little pieces that can come up off of different upholstery and keep it looking really fabulous. Last tip I will say is to repurpose some of the items that you might not be using for their intended purpose anymore. This obviously means that they're imperfect and they're not serving you in the way that they should, but some stuff I've kept in my storage locker and I've come back to them and been like, oh, I could actually use this for something that they were not at all intended for. Like I talked about that soap dish that I use as a base for my mouthwash because the mouthwash leaks sometimes from the cap. But anyway, it was not useful as a soap dish because I don't actually use like bar soap, and it was chipped. I'm also using an old wool blanket as a cover for a chaise lounge on the balcony because there are people that smoke above our balcony and their ashes tend to fall onto our furniture, and it's burnt a couple holes in our chaise lounge. So wool is actually pretty good at repelling like embers. Anyway, guys, those are just some tips for keeping items that are imperfect, sourcing items that are imperfect, because it's so much more interesting. Life is so much more fun and interesting when things aren't perfect because it's boring. Thank you guys. If you'd like, I have another video on how to save some money in your small space, and I will link it here. I'd really appreciate it if you watch it. And as always, I appreciate your support. Thank you.